Hi students, welcome to Vidya Guru's YouTube channel, and in today's session we will talk about time and work. So we will look at some newer types of problems that have been coming in the past few years. We are going to learn some shortcuts and tricks to solve those problems, so it will help us save a lot of time. And as you know, as you can see that this session is in English medium. This session is in pure English medium. So if you're not comfortable with the language, if you're not comfortable with the medium, then you can always watch the bilingual medium, the Hindi medium session, which is there in the playlist. Because the English medium session is primarily for those students who have difficulty understanding Hindi, especially for our students who are from South India, who are from the Northeast India. We record these sessions which are completely in English medium. So watch the video till the end, because in the end I will give you a practice question. From today on, I'll start giving you a practice question, and once you note down that practice question, you will have to solve it and provide the answer in the comment box. So provide the answer in the comment box, and in the next video I'll give you the explanation to that question. So if you like the video, please press the like button for sure. Share the video with your friends so that they also get benefited by our videos. So let's get started with the first question, with the first type. The question says A is 1.5 times more efficient than B, therefore takes 8 days less than B to complete a work. So what do we know till now? We know that A is more efficient than B, and A's efficiency is 1.5 times B's efficiency. If A and B work on alternate days, now they work on alternate days and A works on the first day. That means starting with A, they work on alternate days. That means on the first day, students, on the first day, A works, on the second day, B works, on the third day, A again works, and on the fourth day, B works. So now you can see that on odd days, students, on odd days, A works, and on even days, B works. Keep that in mind. Okay. Then in how many days the work will be completed? You have been given the ratio of efficiencies. Now what is the new type? The new type is that you have to make use of ratio and proportion as well as time and work. So it's a compounded question wherein you have to focus on not only ratio and proportion but also time and work. So A's efficiency is 1.5 times, and B's efficiency is what? 1. So if the efficiency, now students comes the important part, if the ratio of the efficiency is 1.5 is to 1, that is the ratio of efficiency, so the ratio of time will be inverse, because A is more efficient, so he will take less time. B is less efficient, so he will take more time. The ratio is of efficiency. This ratio is of efficiency, so the ratio of times will be exactly opposite. So the ratio of time will be 1 is to 1.5. That means if A takes 1 unit time, if A takes 1 part time, then B takes 1.5 part times. Let me express it in fractions. So if A takes 1 part time, how much time does B take? He takes 1.5, that means 1.5. So 1 is to 1.5, that is the ratio of the times taken by A and B. But now we need to convert. Now we need to convert the ratio of these times, into days. How do we do that? Let's see. As we know that one part is the time taken by A, and 1.5 parts is the time taken by B. So what is the gap? The gap between the times taken by them is half part. As you can see very clearly, the gap is half part. A takes 1 part time, B takes 1.5 part time. So the gap is half part. Now this half part gap is equal to how many days? We know, we have been given in the question that B takes 8 days more. That means the gap, this half part gap, is equal to how many days? It is equal to 8 days, because the gap between A and B's time is 8 days. So half part is equal to 8 days. The gap, which was half part, is now equal to 8 days. So how much time does A take? A takes 1 part time. Half part is equal to 8 days. Half part is equal to 8 days. So 1 part becomes equal to how much? 1 part becomes equal to 16 days. Half part is equal to 8 days. So 1 part is equal to 16 days. So now we know that the time taken by A, the time taken by A is 16 days. And how much time does the B take? B takes 1.5 part time. B takes 1.5 parts time. So if half part is equal to 8, what will 1.5 part be equal to? 1.5 part will be equal to, students, 1.5 part will be equal to 24 days. We know that half part is equal to 8, so 1.5 part becomes 24. So now we know that B takes 24 days. So now we have arrived at the time taken by A and B respectively. So with that we will move ahead. With that we will move ahead and solve it further. Now 16 days for A and 24 days for B. What is the shortcut? The shortcut is that the moment you have the times, take the LCM. Take the LCM of these figures, that will give you total work. So the LCM of 16 days and 24 days, 16 and 24, the LCM, students, 16 and 24, the LCM turns out to be 48. How does it come out to be 48? Start counting. Counting the table of 24. 24 ones are 24, 24 twos are 48. So 48 is a multiple of 24 and it is also a multiple of 16. So the LCM is nothing but, students, the LCM always represents the total work. Please remember, the LCM represents the total work. And why have we calculated the LCM? So that we know the total work. So the total work is now how many units? 48 units. A completes the work. A completes the work in 16 days. B completes the work in 24 days. And how much is the total work? The total work is 24 units. So now think of the work done by A in 1 day. Think of the work done by A in 1 day. Total work is 48 units. So in 1 day, A completes how many units? A completes 3 units because he takes 16 days. 48 units is the total work. He takes 16 days to complete it. That means in 1 day he does how many units? In 1 day he does 3 units. So A's 1 day work is 3 units. Similarly, B takes 24 days. B takes 24 days to get these 48 units completed. That means B in 1 day does how many units? He does 2 units. 48 divided by 24. 48 is the total work. 24 is the number of days. So in a day, B completes 2 units. Now the benefit is that we will be able to calculate the time taken when they work on alternate days. So let's see. The first day A works and does 3 units. On the second day B works and does how many units? B works and does 2 units. So on the first day A worked, the second day B worked. That means 5 unit work. 5 units of work was completed. Please focus now. 5 units of work got completed in 2 days because they were not working together. They were working on alternate days. So on the first day A worked and did 3 units. On the second day only B worked and did 2 units. So in a total of 2 days they completed 5 units. And what is the total work? The total work is 48 units. So 2 days it is required. 2 days are required to perform 5 units of work. So if I have to complete, let's say 45 units. If I have to complete 45 units, how much time will it be required? 5 units are completed in 2 days. So 45 units will be completed in 18 days. Students, it is nothing but 9 times. 5 9s are 45. I've simply multiplied this whole thing with 9. So 45 units get completed in 9 2s are 18 days. So in 18 days, now focus, in 18 days, 45 units work is already complete. So how much work is left? The work left is now 3 3 units. You understand that? Total work was 48 units. 45 units got completed in how many days? In 18 days. What is the work left? The work left is 3 units. And on 19th day, now you know the 19th day, it will be A's turn, because I told you that A works on odd days. We have seen that A worked on the first day, A worked on the third day, A worked on the fifth day. Similarly, A will be working on the 19th day. So on the 19th day, it will be A's turn. And when the 19th day arrives, on 19th day, A will be completing the work. He will be completing his 3 units. So the moment he adds 3 units, 45 units were already completed. On the 19th day, A will be working and he will be adding 3 units to the 45 which was completed already. So on the 19th day, the entire work will get completed. 48 units of work will get completed. So on 19th day, A has contributed 3 units, and on 19th day, the work gets completed. The 48 units get completed. So what is the answer? Of course, the answer is 19 days. It took a total of 19 days to complete this work. Students, that was a question which required some understanding of ratio and proportion as well as time and work. Now we will look at a newer type of problem. Let's see. And how is it a newer type? You'll get to know. Just read it once. A and B together do a job in 6.75 days. A could do the job in 9 days if he worked alone. So now you can see that it is a decimal figure. The time taken by A and B together has been given in decimals, 6.75. That is the twist. And A alone can do it in 9 days. We have to find out how much time would it take if B worked alone. If B worked alone, how much time would it take? So now let's see. A and B together take 6.75 days. 6.75, what does it mean in terms of fractions? 6 remains as it is, 0.75. Students, 0.75 is nothing but 3 by 4. 3 by 4 is 75%, which means 0.75. So I have written 6.75 as a fraction, and as a fraction it becomes 6 3 by 4. Now I will convert it into a proper fraction. 6 4s are 24, 24 in 3, 27. So it becomes 27 by 4. And you'll get to know why I converted it into a proper fraction. So A and B together take 27 by 4 days. A alone takes how many days? A alone takes 9 days. So now you know the next step. And what is that? We will take the LCM. We will take the LCM of the time. So the time for A and B together was 27 by 4, and the time for A alone was 9. So taking the LCM of these two figures. Now what is to be understood? That you have to take the LCM of a fraction. So out here we have to understand a bit about LCM and HCF also. How to take the LCM of fractions. 27 by 4 is a fraction. So let me convert. Students, let me convert this 9 into a fraction. 9 can be written as 9 by 1. I know that 9 is nothing but 9 by 1. So when you have to find the LCM, now I have two fractions, 27 by 4 and 9 by 1. LCM of a fraction. LCM of a fraction is what? It is LCM of numerators. Now listen to me very carefully. It is the LCM of numerators divided by the HCF of. Students, divided by the HCF of denominators. So LCM of numerators divided by HCF of denominators. So look at these two fractions, 27 by 4 and 9 by 1. What are the numerators? The numerators are 27 and 9. To find the aggregate LCM, I will look at the LCM of these numerators. LCM of numerators 27 and 9, it will be nothing but 27, because 27 appears in the table of 9 as well. 9 3s are 27. So I have taken the LCM of numerators. Now HCF of denominators. What are the denominators? 4 and 1. 4 and 1 are the denominators. And what is the HCF of 4 and 1? The HCF of 4 and 1 is 1. The HCF of 4 and 1 is 1. So finally, the LCM of these fractions, the LCM of these fractions is nothing but 27. Now, why did we calculate? Now, you know why did we calculate the LCM? Because it gives us the total work. Students, the total work is how much? The total work is 27 units. A and B together take 27 by 4 days. 27 by 4 days to complete these 27 units. That means in one day, what is the work that they do in one day? 27 is the total work. The time required is 27 by 4. So when I calculate it, I realize that it is 4 units. A and B together perform 4 units of work in one day. So one day's work for A and B together is 4 units. Similarly, A alone takes 9 days to complete these 27 units. That means in one day, how many units does A do? A performs 3 unit work. 3 units of work is performed by A alone because he takes 9 days to perform 27 units. That means in one day he is contributing 3 units. Now think of it like this. A and B together, students, A and B together perform 4 units of work in one day. A alone does 3 units of work. A alone does 3 units of work in one day. So what is the contribution of B? B's contribution is 1 unit per day. Think of it like that. A and B together perform 4 units in a day, out of which 3 units are contributed by A. So what is B's contribution? B's contribution is 1 unit every day. So if B works alone, he does how many units in a day? He does 1 unit in a day. So for a total work of 27 units, he will take how many days? 27 is the total work and he does 1 unit work every day. So he will require simply 27 days. And students, you must have understood that in this question, it was important to understand the concept of LCM and HCF to convert the decimal into fraction. And the moment you had these fractions, you should know how to take out the LCM and then arrive at the total work. Now we will look at the next question for today. In fact, the final question for today. And this is a higher level question. Let's read it together. A, B and C can complete a work in 10, 12 and 15 days respectively. That means A takes how many days? A takes 10 days, B takes 12 days and C takes 15 days. Now we know that. All three of them start together. So they start working together. But after 2 days, A leaves the job. That means for the first 2 days, students, all three of them work together. So in the first phase, A, B and C, they work together for 2 days. On first 2 days, all three of them were together. Of course, A leaves the job after 2 days, and then it says B left the job 3 days before the work was completed. So B left the job 3 days before the work gets completed. That means for the final 3 days, students, now listen to me very carefully. Since B leaves the job 3 days before the work completion, that means for the final 3 days, it was C working alone. C worked alone for the last 3 days because even B had left. That means in between after A had left, there was a second phase in which B and C worked together. The work is getting completed in 3 phases. In the first phase, A, B and C were together. In the second phase, what happened? A left and B and C were working together. And what is the third phase? In the third phase, B left the job 3 days before the work gets completed. So in the final phase, C was working alone and he worked alone for 3 days, completing the remaining work. So in the 3 days, he completed the remaining work. In how many days? The question says, in how many days was the total work completed? So we don't know about the second stage, how much time this second stage took. If we find out this time, that the second stage took, then we will know the entire time it required. Because we are clear about the first stage, we are clear about the third stage, how much time the first and second stage take, but we are not clear about the second stage. So if we find the time taken in the second stage, then we will know the total time. So by now you know the process. The time taken by A is 10, for B it is 12, and for C it is 15. So we will be taking the LCM of the times taken. 10, 12 and 15. Start with the table of 15, the biggest number. 15 fours are 60. Students, 15 fours are 60. The moment you arrive at 60, you have found the LCM, because 60 is a multiple of 15, 12 and 10, all three of them. So now when we have found out the LCM, it means the total work. Students, it means the total work is how much? The total work is 60 units. The total work is 60 units, and A takes 10 days. Students, A takes 10 days to complete these 60 units. That means in one day he does how many units? In one day A does 6 units. Similarly, B takes 12 days to complete these 60 units. That means B does 5 units work every day. 12 fives are 60. 12 fives are 60. That means in one day B completes 5 units work. Similarly, C completes 4 units of work every day, because 15 fours are 60. So A does how many units? A is doing 6 units, B is doing 5 units, and C is doing how much? C is doing 4 units. That means together, if they work together, A, B and C will do how many units? 6 plus 5, 11, 11 plus 4, 15. If they work together, then they do 15 units work in one day. They do 15 units work in one day. For the first 2 days, we know for the first 2 days, all three of them were together. In one day, they do 15 units. So in 2 days, they have done 30 units. So 30 units of work got completed in the first 2 days. Now let's look at the final 3 days. 30 units of work got completed in the first 2 days. In the last 3 days, it was C alone working. And C does 4 units. C does 4 units in a day, 4 units per day. He worked for 3 days. So how many units did he complete? Towards the end, the work that he completed was 12 units. So 30 units was the work done in first 2 days in the first stage. 12 units is the work done in the third stage, the final stage. So what was the work? Think about the work done in the second stage. In the second stage, out of the total work, 60 units. What was the work done in the second stage? 30 plus 12, 42. 42 will be subtracted from 60. That means 18 units. Students, 18 units work. 18 units were performed in the second stage. That is how total 60 units come together. 30 plus 18, 48. 48 and 12 gives us 60. So in the second stage, it was 18 units when B and C worked together. So if B and C work together, what happens? B contributes 5 units. Now comes the important part. B contributes 5 units daily. C contributes 4 units daily. So if B and C work together, then they do 9 units every day. Then they do 9 units in a day. So for doing 18 units, how many days did they take? They took 2 days, because every day they do 9 units. Every day when they work together, B and C, they do 9 units. So for 18 units, they will take how much time? They will take 2 days time. So now we have the times for all the 3 stages. 2 and 2, 4. 2 and 2, 4. 4 and 3, 7. Combine the time taken. First stage took 2 days. The second stage also takes 2 days. The final stage takes 3 days. That means the total time was 2 days plus 2 days plus 3 days, 2 and 2, 4, 4 and 3 is 7. So the total time was 7 days to complete the entire work. And students, with that, we will come to the practice question that I have to assign you. So make sure you note this question down carefully. Now it is there on your screen, and make sure you give me the answer in the comment box. In the next video, in the next session, we will focus on this solution. If you've liked the video, please share it with your friends. Do subscribe to our channel and press the bell icon. Press the bell icon for sure, then only you will get the notifications. And of course, the numbers are also given. The numbers are also given on the screen. So if you want to join us for the complete program for covering the entire syllabus, where you get all the videos in a sequence, then you can call upon these numbers and get in touch with our online team. With that, I'll wrap up. Thank you so much.